Gibble Gooble, one of us. Gibble Gooble, one of us. No, don't say that. Do you ever see that scene?
I have. I don't think it's Gibble Gooble.
I thought it was Gerbil Gooble. Gooble Gooble.
Gooble Gobble. Gooble Gobble.
I don't think it's Gobble. I don't
It's
think it's
Google
anywhere.
Gobble.
It's Gooble Gobble?
Yeah.
so.
Fuck.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm not positive.
Frank, what do you think?
I don't know what you're talking about.
this was
One
wasn't,
of us. Google Gobble.
wasn't this the first movie with sound or something? I don't know. Go back in time. Hey,
That would be amazing if that was the first movie. So, one of us. Google Gobble.
I just lump all black and white movies into one thing. Here's the
Racist.
podcast that's basically your first
They're
introduction.
all like tragic romance stories with monsters.
I think you're just racist against old films.
I think it's pretty clear I was trying to launch it. Yay, we're the fucking Two Guns No Ammunition. We're like color to your black and white
Where what?
I don't know. Let's get started. Welcome to another iteration. I'm Billy Two Guns. We're No Ammunition. We're a little light on the team today. Chris is moving into his new... We helped him move into his new apartment, and he is quote unquote exploring.
His body.
I don't know what that
Probably.
means.
He's got to break it in.
Yeah.
The
His
apartment.
new body.
It's pretty
And the body.
It's pretty broken, I imagine. And Lisa is studying to become supreme overlord of drugs. So we got to get that
It's a
going.
tightly regulated position.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it.
All right. I'm Billy, and I bought another game off of our goddamn Steam sale, and I loved it again.
I'm Genevieve, and I am going to sue Chris for vehicular manslaughter because his trunk tried to kill me.
But you're alive.
It doesn't matter. It was an attempt. So I guess attempted vehicular
Killed her
manslaughter.
pride.
There you go.
I mean, no one was there to see it, so I'm just giving you guys information.
What you got to do is you have to wait 30 years and then bring it up when he's running for office.
Okay, there we go.
What
No
office
evidence.
is Chris
Can you
gonna run
imagine
for?
if that torpedoed his like campaign, like his car, when I was helping him move,
I helped him move once.
and
And
the
his
wind
trunk
blew
tried
a
to
little
kill
too much?
me.
Yeah, exactly.
I was so scared.
Yeah, I don't feel safe anymore around cars.
All right.
I'm Frank. I picked up a game that was off of one of our Steam sales, but I did not pick it up on Steam. I picked it up on an Xbox because it was on sale on Xbox. Divinity 2 Original Sin. Lots of people know it. Lots of people love it. I'll talk about it.
Maybe
I'm Jake, and I've relapsed.
relapsed.
I quit the Fallout 4 for I don't know how many months.
None point one.
Like at least 6.
What?
Probably approaching a
You need
year.
to go to the meetings.
And I found a really sweet mod, and now I'm in it again.
Oh man.
What's the mod? Or do you want to do it?
We'll get into that on the flip side. I saw you lighting up that Fallout 4 cush again.
Sparking the Fallout.
Yep.
Crawling out through the Fallout, baby.
All right, so since we're light on people today, first off, we want to apologize to everybody who was hanging on our every post. We took time off for Easter. We had to, I don't know. I don't think any of us went to church, but
it was National Bun Bun Day.
Well,
so
that's
we had
what
to
it was.
celebrate the bunnies.
my mom did call Genevieve and wish her happy Bunny Day.
That's what it is, right?
yeah, it's Bunny Day.
I like that better than Zombie Jesus that some 13-year-old edgelords thought was so hilarious.
I still use Zombie Jesus because I am a 13-year-old edgelord.
We know that.
I knew it.
And I worship Zombie Jesus, so fuck you.
We know you love to
Whoa.
edge.
Fuck you, Bill.
You edge to the Lord of
Don't
Zomboids.
insult my zomboid religion.
Ugh.
My spooky skeleton religion.
Yeah, that's
that's
a different one. That's a maybe Zombie Jesus is a subsect of.
Look, it all rotted off. It's been like 2,000 years.
Listen, that's a religion worth dying for. Yeah, okay, since we're sort of in a little bit of a freeform section, before we get into our meat of it, have you ever listened to the band Thy Art Is Murder?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, they're spooky, scary, hard metal stuff. Oh, yeah. And they have a song called Holy War. And I'll be goddamned if I didn't click on this because fucking YouTube suggested it. How did I get into this. How did I get to this video? It popped up as suggested as I was watching metal. It's like a pastor and his religious son listened to Holy War by Thy Art Is Murder. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Because so many things recently, I mean, like, that looks stupid. And then I explore it, and it's fucking amazing. So I give it a listen, and these guys were cool about it. They were, like, trying to stick it out. I listened to the song, and I was like, oh, this is hype as shit. And it's it like reawakened this like exasperation with establishment and like, you know, theocratic authority that I hadn't been privy to since like high
Your
school.
inner 13 edgelord.
Well, 16 or 17. My friends, when I was like 16 or 17, they were like, "Oh, Holy War, die for nothing." It was intense, but it was fun. It was sweet, man. God, there's so much good music out there.
Mm-hmm.
But this YouTube, do you guys ever get any wild shit come up on your suggested YouTube stuff? And do you ever click it? Because I am curious, but what I'm worried about is as soon as I click, they'll be like, oh, we've got tens of thousands of more dog shit videos slightly related. This guy loves it.
That's what I get when I'm on like a D&D binge.
Mm-hmm.
Like 90% of the content out there for it is absolute dog shit. And it's a bunch of nerds sitting around thinking they're super edgelord.
Oh my God, it's us.
And I'm just like, yeah, basically. But they're even worse somehow. Like, I'd rather listen to our episodes than watch one of those.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. Right?
So we're terrible.
Yeah. So I get those. I just don't do it. But like what happens a lot of times is there is one that I watch very religiously that I have been now for like a year and a half. And it's gone through several campaigns at this point. But it's every Monday, so it comes up every Tuesday is when they actually post the videos on YouTube because they stream it on Monday afternoons. And most of the time, like, I'll try and save it so that I watch it a little bit over the course of every week. And like right now I have about 40 minutes left of last week's episode. So like I'm trying to split that between later tonight and tomorrow. But man, like a lot of times I'll fall asleep to it. And I'll wake up and it'll be like something else that goes on, and I'll be like,
autoplay on.
yeah, exactly. And then it's just like, I'm just like, why are these people wasting all of our time and Google server space? And I mean, like, I know Google has essentially infinite server space to put these, but like, even at an infinitesimal amount of space, it's still wasted.
It's wasted because it's wasting people's time.
Two things. First off, YouTube has started pausing my music that I'm listening to and go, are you still there? Listen, they're pissing me off. I didn't like it when they decided to make money and they started showing me ads all the time. And then now what they do to me, they started showing me 2 ads. The first one would be skippable, but if I let that play because I took too long, the second one would be unskippable. Then now what they do is I listen to a song and right as it ends, they show me an ad at the end. Sometimes they show me 2 and it drives me insane because they're unskippable.
I have a solution for you, but we'll get back to that because that's a whole other diatribe. I have gone on multiple tangents on this show about things I found courtesy of autoplay on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Multiple. And sure they're mostly music related, the good ones. But I mean, even other shit, there's all kinds of great, nonfiction channels that have come up in the related that even if when I found them and they weren't all that great, I saw some sort of spark and I was interested enough to hit the subscribe button.
Dude,
and then a couple years go by and you come back and their shit's great.
You have been finding some really impressive content.
Yeah.
How are you doing this?
Sometimes people on the internet recommend it to me.
Okay.
Other times it's autoplay or me poking around or, YouTube put something in front of my eyeballs and it looks intriguing enough for me to try it. I mean, other times, usually, because I like to leave stuff play overnight. I usually have YouTube going overnight, much to YouTube's chagrin. The reason they ask you if you're still listening, Bill, is because they want to save bandwidth. That's why. Now, it should
giving it all to Frank to watch this shit.
It should only happen if you're watching nothing but music videos for an extended period of time. Like the first 3 or so, it shouldn't even give you that prompt at minimum. I've seen that, but it's usually like 10 songs in that I even notice. And I don't notice till the music stops. So I'm like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, I'm still here. No, that's fine. Not like Netflix, where it's like the second episode of something. Are you still watching? You know what you do, right? That's like a crack dealer going up to a current crackhead who an hour ago you just sold a dime bag to. You still smoke, man? You still doing the crack, dude?
Like
it's been a while.
In the middle of ripping a head off the crack pipe, he swatted away. You still smoking, bro?
Yeah.
You still into this?
Yeah, it's like fuck you, Netflix. And it's for the same reason. It's bandwidth. But at any rate, there is a shitload of great stuff on the internets. But usually on the YouTube overnight in particular, I save people's playlists. You know, things that I like. Dragon Ball Z Abridged, best of the worst. Just stuff I've already seen, because the best sort of sleep material stuff you've already seen, because you're not trying to pay attention because you know what
it's still
happens.
kind of entertaining, but not super engaging. You don't feel like you're sucked into it.
Yeah, and I used to do it with Futurama and Next Generation and TV shows on Netflix too, but they stop the playlist. Whereas with non-music, currently anyway, YouTube, as to my recollection, at least not in the span of a night's sleep, or longer, will let you autoplay a playlist. You just hit you just hit the repeat, and sometimes if you want the shuffle, and it'll just keep looping.
I feel like they do all this stuff just to push their own products. Like YouTube now has just a music service that they're pushing.
Well, that's a logical step though, right? Because because that way people can, authorized people can upload their music, and don't have to worry about the DMCA anymore for those.
Yeah. No, and it totally makes sense. It's probably more expensive for them to play music videos that they have licensing agreement with, and they want you to move over to their music app. But for whatever reason, I don't want to. I like playing it through the YouTubes. Did you know? You'll be happy to know. All of Thomas the Tank Engine, the original series, is available on YouTube.
Did you know that theme song is one of the most fire rap beats ever made?
Yeah, you showed us that. You showed us that mix with the
Biggie Smalls.
Yep. What else is
amazing,
on there? Dude? Gumby's also on there. I tried to watch that first episode. I was so freaked out it made me feel nauseated.
You mean Gumby?
What did I say?
Gummy?
I heard Gumby, but
I didn't catch
maybe
No,
my
I meant
mind
to
just
say
put it in
Gumby. Dude, that shit is fucked. Because it's like they're using like stop motion when they first invented it, so it looks like a horror movie. It's like physical torture. Everything's too choppy and shaky, and they go to this like horrible moon. I don't like it, but if you like it, it's on YouTube. That shit's fucked. The other thing that's also on there,
You just don't know good art when you see it.
is The Adventures of Pete and Pete. Do you guys remember this show?
I do remember that show.
I pulled up the first episode. It was hard to watch, man.
It's not very good.
I should have left.
Everybody thought it was the shit, and you're looking at it with rose-colored glasses.
It
Yeah.
Is it?
It's pretty dry. It was a Nickelodeon like live action, like youth drama-ish sort of thing about these two brothers who inexplicably were both named Pete. And I don't know if one was adopted or what, but I have no idea. I remember exactly one scene. It's not even worth describing. For some reason, it's burned in my head, and it wasn't very much of an interesting show.
Well, I looked it up. Because on another YouTube hole that I was falling down, which is leading me to more of this. What was that metal genre I didn't even know existed that you're like, yeah, welcome to 2012?
I don't know, post-hardcore.
Metalcore?
Metalcore?
Yeah, metalcore.
You just didn't know by name, I'm sure.
No. Well, the band that does the theme song for Pete and Pete, The Adventures of Pete and Pete, is a band called Polaris or however you say it. They made that music. They went away for a couple of years. Now they're back as a metalcore band, and they're heavy as shit.
Are they the same people?
I don't know.
Because it could have just been two bands with the same name.
All their whole thing, I think they're the
Just
same
like
band.
Pete and
I
Pete.
think they're the same band.
Okay.
I was on the Wikipedias, and it didn't seem to differentiate them.
Okay.
That my assertion would not stand up in cross-examination.
I mean, I'm not challenging it. I'm just curious. but I mean, you started bitching about ads, and I'm right there with you. Have you heard of this thing called the Brave browser?
I have not heard about.
It's based on Google Chrome.
Tell me more.
I use it. And it has built-in ad blocker, built-in anti-track. So it's way faster than Chrome because you're not loading ads. And they have, built-in, like an incognito plus Tor network if you need to be super duper secret.
Wait, what's
Download all your
plus-
nuclear launch codes.
Tor?
Tor is a network of super tight privacy protection.
Okay.
I honestly know next to nothing about it other than it exists, and it's supposed to be like if you're on the Tor network and no one can identify your computer as you're doing stuff like at all. So it's got all these neat features. It also because it blocks everyone's ads, what they're trying to push instead is getting websites and content creators, etc., to register on the Brave platform, and then as users of the browser linger on a given website or watch a video, it logs how much attention you are spending essentially on that page. And by virtue of your time spent, monetizes that attention for the creators by way of a cryptocurrency called the Basic Attention Token, which you can also buy on your own if you're ever inclined. And the Brave browser will actually randomly give you little bits of it, to which you can then directly donate to people you like on the internet as well if they're registered. You can also buy more through it if you want to tip them directly. It's just, and then they also just launched, I haven't tried it yet, a thing where you can voluntarily watch ads to get more of those BATs to then forward to whatever creators you want to. You can't keep them for yourself, unfortunately, because that's not what it's about. It's about an alternative method of monetizing content on the internet without relying on just throwing ads obnoxiously in front of as many eyeballs as possible. And then they have some other stuff, I think, in the works too. But the only catch so far is that it does not work with your Netflix, Hulu's, Amazon Prime Video. It just doesn't like it. So you might want to switch back to Chrome or whatever your preferred browser is to use those services.
YouTube is fine.
YouTube is 100% fine. The only time I see advertisements, period, anymore, and it's been this way for many months at this point, is if I'm watching YouTube on the YouTube app on a mobile device, where obviously you're not using the Brave browser, or that's it. That is the only time I ever see ads ever.
That would be a good use for like a pie hole, because you could be on your mobile app connected to your router and it would filter all that tracking and add stuff out before it even gets to your phone. But that's a whole different thing. That's interesting. I really dig that solution. Like somebody had it.
Check out, seriously, everyone listening, we're not big enough. We're not big enough for it to matter for us right now as content creators. Although, if we get a ping,
the implication like it'll be different one day.
You don't know.
It may.
You don't know.
We could blow up.
You don't got to hate on us the entire episode.
You got told by Jacob.
But that's what I do.
It wasn't that big of a burn either, guys.
We're supporting you. You're the king right now.
I am no one's king. You are fired.
This is why
I will not bend the knee.
Anyway,
You have no need to bend on.
Shut up, everyone! Download and try the Brave browser. You won't regret it. There's nothing to argue with when it comes to loading your websites faster and not being subject to every ad on planet Earth all the time.
Very good. That is, this Brave browser seems to me to be like what the competition will come up with an alternative. People are this is what they imagine. Somebody's like, I don't like the YouTubes. Here's my alternative, and people still get paid. And then you get to look at what the establishment does when they eventually turn on them. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Elect me. Supreme Chancellor.
Bill for Supreme Chancellor 2020.
Yeah, buddy.
He
All
is
right.
not
Chancellor
a
of-
spicy meatball.
Chancellor of
All right. So here we go. Industry news. Introducing, I'm going to read you a little article here from playoverwatch.com. Introducing the Overwatch Workshop for 2019. Create games in ways previously unimaginable with the Workshop. The Workshop is a simplified game scripting system that expands the customization features available in the game browser. Within the Workshop, you'll create a script to add rules and unique play conditions on top of the established Overwatch game modes you already know and love. Rules can do many things, like change how a hero's movement and abilities work, modify how players are damaged or healed, or even display text under certain circumstances. One hot game mode you can create is Molten Floor, where your heroes will catch on fire if they're on the ground. So there's a whole thing here on exactly what you can do. And I was reading the Reddit description of this when the news broke, and it basically somebody made the comment, it's like, you think you can balance our game better than us? You go right ahead. And this is really,
which is absurd because Blizzard is so good at, but like, how many people are honestly complaining about any Blizzard games being on balance? Like, they're so good at it.
Oh yeah, but I like this as a put up or shut up move. I also like it because
yeah, but you know there's going to be that one autist out there playing these games that in like 5 minutes is like, here, I did it. And then Blizzard's like, God damn it.
Is that going to be you, Frank?
No. I know nothing about this. I don't play Overwatch anymore. All my friends who I play most multiplayer games with have game ADD. Mm-hmm. So it's like they play one game for like 3 months and then
That's it.
And then boom, next. What's next? Like, you know, it started out with Fortnite was out because it beat PUBG to the punch by like a month. So we played Fortnite for a month, and then PUBG came out, and then it was PUBG is cool, Fortnite is for smooth brains, and then 3 months of PUBG is like, oh my God, did you see how much work they've done to Fortnite? It's so much better. PUBG is so stupid. It's broken. Play Fortnite. So then you play Fortnite for 3 months, and then what came out after that? There was another battle royale. To be fair, Fortnite was a little longer than 3 months, but what was the one after that? It's recent, and then I played it for a little bit, and then of course had to move on from that to Apex Legends, and who knows what'll be next.
Well,
COD Blackout.
That is like the trial and tribulation of late 20s, early 30s gamers. I think, like, you know, I have a group of friends that plays Blackwake. I was on that competitive team, and now that we lost that tournament, and there's not another one in our sights, people have sort of fallen off. And you know, we haven't seen Carl, friend of the podcast, online. He like comes and goes. Chris sees him, but I never see him. And Chris and I were playing depth, and then I moved on to a third game, and I can't pull anybody over there. And it's just like,
ha! You have all bended the knee, and my knees are indeed not bended.
Because you have
I
no
am now
knees.
king.
I'm doing the Barack Obama leg cross. This used to be a feminine move, but everybody went bananas for him, and he used to sit like this with his knee crossed over his other knee. So now I can do it.
You're not doing anything different than...
It's because he's a reptilian who doesn't have a penis to crush.
Here's the thing. More information than you ever wanted to know, and I'm not going to get graphic with it. I'm just going to say this. I can cross my right knee over my left knee. I cannot go the opposite way without severe structural damage. I don't know why the Lord made me this way. I can't explain it. Medical doctors hate me because of this one weird tick.
I'm sure that is why they
I hate you because of that.
So anyway, I'm really stoked about this. And I think it's pretty interesting because, Frank, you've commented before on how tightly Blizzard keeps a lock on their IP. They love to do the big analytics. How fucking old do I sound? Do the big analytics with the algorithms and the Google foo. But they like to keep a lock on this shit.
You sound like one of the CEOs of like a manufacturing firm who is like like on CNBC or something like that. He's like, yeah, we're going to use big data analytics to caboozle the cabozzle. And then the chief technical officer is just like, oh my God.
I swear to Christ, there better be synergy.
and yeah, the CTO's over there, like just like, oh my God, well, how is this guy in charge?
Because he knows the words. That's why.
I think it's a big deal that Blizzard's finally like, this is such an asset that we're going to allow it, because it is hard to have your baby, a game, and Blizzard has so many big time successful games. It's so hard to be like, here.
They don't make anything else. All they make are hits.
Yeah, you're like, here, you guys go ahead. And it's like, when you're on top of the world, when you're as big as Blizzard, why would you want to share, But they're giving it to the community because it has become so apparent that community input is valuable. And like the hubris, they have to get it out of the way. They have to give up a little bit of control. I mean, of course they don't have to, but the smart money is to have this workshop ability. And I'm stoked, because the thing that I was so afraid of losing, the creativity of individuals, and we talked about, I was worried about the loss of this creativity through establishment of professional leagues, that everybody would sort of orient themselves towards whatever the professional level play was. But now one of the biggest, I don't know this for a fact, but I mean, it's everybody who I've seen watch competitive gaming is watching fucking Overwatch. One of the biggest competitive games out there is now allowing a workshop for other people for players to put in their input, and they've been traditionally very guarded with their IP. So I'm stoked. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts? Because this basically so far looks to me like what you can do in a Unity engine. Are you guys familiar with Unity?
Yeah.
I am not.
It's like it's a game engine, I think is a good way to put it, that a lot of independent games are made on. It doesn't involve a lot of heavy coding, but it allows some level of scripting. So you can write like, when this trigger happens, like the trigger might be the player character moves to this location on a map that you built, then this series of commands executes and this thing happens in the game world. And it sounds a lot like what they're doing here, which is also exciting, because people who are good at making games in Unity, which is free, and there's a ton of fucking people who are good at that, are probably also going to be good at making games in here. Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you have thoughts on this?
I think, and this is just pure spitballing, they're just trying to get ahead of Halo.
Now, why do you say that? What is Halo doing?
So Halo 6 will be coming out soon, probably this year, I think. I don't know if they put a release date out for it, but Halo 5 was very, very popular, multiplayer-wise, right? It did not attract a significant professional following, but I think that's Microsoft. Microsoft is big into esports now, and I think that's going to be their target for Halo 6, is create a game that has a massive esports following. One of the things that a lot of people have enjoyed about the Halo franchise and the multiplayer is the custom game ability. And they were the first, I think, with the Forge in Halo 3, it might have been one of the Halos. It was the first that I remember on consoles that allowed you to pretty much heavily mod the game. You could create your own maps, you could create your own game modes, you could create scripts. Like, there was pretty much full modability for the multiplayer aspect of the game, and it was a huge success. They also I think they were the first to incorporate that with social features, where you could share your maps and the community could like vote their favorites, and you could download other people's, that you'd never met before. So it was I think that was they were the first people to really do it, and not a ton of other developers have incorporated that detailed, that level of customability and modability into their games, especially on consoles. But it's catching on again, and with Microsoft, with esports starting to become much bigger, and Microsoft looking to capitalize on the esports drive with Halo 6, I think Blizzard is trying to get in front of that by saying like, oh, but we're going to let you do that with Overwatch, so that when Halo 6 inevitably comes out and it might generate a large professional following and a big professional league, because my guess is Microsoft will do what, like, here's why Overwatch is so popular in terms of professional, like the professional league.
I do not.
Because Blizzard threw a bunch of money behind it. It's that simple. They sponsored, they threw a lot of money to create the tournaments and create the league and make sure that the teams were branded well and had good people running them and all that stuff. And Microsoft will do the same for Halo 6. They'll throw a bunch of money into it to make it popular, successful, and everybody knows about it. And Blizzard doesn't want to lose.
Dude, I just read in my Google News.
Again, sound like an old person.
Well, Google News shows you what they think you want to read. But I don't know another good aggregator to go find news because Reddit is
Terrible.
fucked right now with its news and politics and shit. But I read about some drama. Somebody on I think it was the Atlanta Overwatch professional team was suspended for like bad behavior. Dude, esports has gotten so big that we're now reading gossip news about players on professional. It's unbelievable.
What did they do? Did you find out?
I don't care. I mean, he's probably.
I thought you were going to say for steroids.
Yeah, right. And then the other thing, I think it's interesting. I was reading a thread on Halo, and a bunch of people were reflecting on how much fun they had in like Halo 2, and I never got it. Right. I liked Halo 1. I didn't get big into the multiplayer thing then because our internet was dog shit. My family, I think I was still writing on a Whisper Writer, which is a typewriter with the limitation of a 3-inch LCD screen. It's terrible.
I always thought those were fun.
It was awful. I would write like an 8-page report and then have to print it like on a printer. It was hard to proofread. It would crash all the time. Anyhow, I didn't get the multiplayer, and I just didn't get it. I like the gameplay for Halo 2 was like too arcadey for me. Well, the people who cut their teeth on that game are now old enough to reflect nostalgically on it, and they were discussing, well, it was all these custom games that they could come up with, and it like didn't click in my head until just this conversation what they were doing. They could add these different rules and scenarios and goof around and come up with super jumps and exploits and incorporate that into the gameplay. And I think now it's been long enough that they're like, we crave that again. And this workshop is going to scratch that itch.
Yeah. It started with Halo.
Do you remember if the workshop, does it have the ability to make different levels or like arenas, I guess? I'm not sure what they're referred to as.
I don't know. Do you know, Frank?
Because I could
What
see
was
it
that?
being easy enough to do different rules and have like different gameplay, but keep the setting the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you don't have to worry about
Overwatch already
generating all-
has a bunch of different maps. I would assume that this would also let you create your own maps. It would have to.
I would be, you know what I think it would be a cool way to monetize these maps? Do like a licensing agreement for professional competition, like a community made. You could have people register, and then community made maps, whatever becomes popular in the amateur circuit, have the pros play on for exhibition matches or even competitive. And when it's shown, like when it's streamed live and pros are playing it and there's money thrown around with advertisers, give a kick to whoever came up with a map. Like residuals for people who are in sitcoms or whatever. And
That'd be pretty cool. I don't think they do it, but that would be pretty cool.
I think it would be neat because it would just, I think it would just be encouraging for more of that creativity.
Fortnite did a thing where every week, I think it was, like you could submit designs for a structure that would go in a specific part of the map, and they gave you rules. Like it basically they gave you a size that it had to be, and you could go and you could craft something in the one particular game mode, and then somehow you like saved it and you sent it to them, and then every week they picked one, and that would be in the game for a week. And it was a huge thing. People were like, they would spend hours. I mean, like there would be kids that would like come home from school and spend like 8 hours after school perfecting these things, trying to get it chosen. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Don't underestimate the dedication of a angsty preteen to create something when they don't know how to deal with all those emotions they're feeling. Just really dedicate themselves. Okay, before we kick it to break, I'm going to do a quick touch base on Sniper Elite 4. Chris and I streamed it last Tuesday, and we played together maybe 2 Tuesdays ago. And I totally botched our playthrough. I got bored. I wanted an exciting stream. I started shooting Nazis. Couldn't help myself. Never played the tutorial. I said, I shoot real guns. I've played video games. I'll be good at this. Guess what? I was not great. I got Chris killed.
Really?
I got Chris killed a lot because the Nazis figured out where I was. Well, I got the bug on that game, and I've been playing. I'm now higher level than Chris, and we went back and we've been playing together over the Discords. It's pretty neat. Like, we'll see each other in person, and then, all right, I'll talk to you tonight. And it's not as intimate as a phone call. You know, we're not dating. We just jump on Discord and chat. It was interesting. Last night, he was sitting in his new place, and we were playing, and I was talking to him, but peripherally, his roommate was in the background talking to Chris, and I could hear their conversation a little bit, and they could hear my jokes. Genevieve was in my room, and every once in a while, she'd crack a joke. I mean, we're just expanding social circles all over the place. I will tell you this much, though. That son of a bitch, Chris, he needs to go ahead and get good. Okay? I've been playing normal mode. He plays in easy mode. I practiced. Okay? I got better at the game. I'm a sneaky sniper. I play normal mode with bullet drop, not windage yet. I shoot Nazis in the face. I don't get detected. This guy, I'm gonna phrase this in probably the best way possible, but you're gonna get my drift. Chris is very different than Chris After Dark. Okay? Chris After Dark says that he wants me to sneak around and yelled at me in our first playthrough. But when I go, hey, let's coordinate a flanking maneuver, because when you shoot from one side and I shoot from the other one, they lose track of us. And we can shoot way more often. Typically, I found out you can shoot a guy with a regular noisy bullet, and then you wait a couple minutes and they lose you, and then you can shoot again. If you shoot too quickly, they find your position and you're fucked. Well, our boy was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
After Dark Chris.
After Dark Chris. Yeah, okay, yeah. So, yeah. Then he didn't do it. I was like, hey, man, why you cross that street so that we could shoot Nazis together? He didn't. That motherfucker got downed 6 times in our... I had to run over and resuscitate him 6 times. That's 6 times too many.
On normal mode?
Yes.
For him,
Chris!
Oh, wait, that was a normal... Okay, that wasn't even easy.
And, like, I was like, Chris, you know how many times I died playing single player? And he was like... I said none. Okay, we died with him like 3 times, like dead. Had to start over again. He's like, oh, you're so good at the game. Like, bro, Chris After Dark needs to get good. Okay, it's very frustrating. I love him, but
It's difficult when you have an underwire thing going on. Like, it's just gotta shuffle things around. Can't shoot as well.
oh, he's wearing a bra.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's Chris
okay.
After Dark. Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yeah, Chris After Dark. So that's still a great game, but the co-op would be a lot better if somebody could focus. All right, that's all I'm saying. Next thing that I moved on to, you remember that fucking weird ass game we saw, Tannenberg, the Wolf Truce?
Yeah, the World War I thing.
Yeah, it turns out there was a previous iteration, Verdun,
Verdun.
based on World War I combat. And whoever it was that did this took a lot of care to have proper behavior of a lot of the weapons to a degree. Now, it doesn't seem like there's any bullet drop. Seems like there's some level of inaccuracy, but there's like it's squad-based combat. There's 4 different members in each squad, and each squad is members of a larger army in a bigger conflict. There's 3 different game modes. It's like shoot zomboids, do a deathmatch free for all, or do one side v the other, and it's territory control. And everybody starts with 2,000 points, victory points, and if one side controls more territories than the other side, you start depleting their victory points. If you control 2 more sides, it's like twice as fast. There is like poison gas that they launch at you sometimes, and you got to put on
World War One.
Yeah, you got to put on your gas mask or you'll die a horrible death, but it limits your vision. If you try to reload your gun that reloads with a clip and not a mag, in the middle of the clip it's just like tough shit. You can't do this, so you got to shoot off the rest of it and aim down the iron sights. There's no scopes. 1-hit kills with a lot of these rifles because turns out they actually hurt a lot. It has opened up my eyes to how trench warfare would have actually worked aside from just being wet and miserable all the time. Like, why would anybody ever want to do that? Like,
What would be the point of even trying? Because it's just like
it's just horrible.
Yeah.
In this one, you're like, oh, the trenches actually make sense because you can like lay down and shoot and barely be really hard to see from
because
far.
you're not presenting a target the entire time.
yeah.
Yeah, it just makes like I couldn't visualize how the conflict would have worked in real life. I know it must have, but everybody when they talk about the Great War, World War I, they like roast everybody who was alive on that planet. I just ran into machine guns and were gunned down by a bunch of goobers.
I've watched a lot of stuff about World War One, and that is true. But it's because the military doctrine of the people in power and giving the orders, etc., was still stuck in warfare several decades prior.
Right.
And they did not learn the lessons, even when up and comers were pointing these things out. The uppermost echelons, and not even necessarily that high up. I mean, there was a thing in military rifles around that point called a magazine cutoff. Okay, and the idea, keep in mind, this World War One, most of these guns are bolt action of some type. Okay, repeaters are super rare, at least on the front lines, because they're expensive and they're still in development, and people have barely figured out smokeless powder. Like they're just figuring it out. The French still have the rifle that they used when they invented smokeless powder 3 decades earlier or whatever. I forget. I'm not an expert, but like because they were the first ones to do it, they were the last ones to upgrade their actual weapon system and the bullet, which meant they kind of had the worst rifle, right? So because everyone else scrambled and put stuff together. And then, of course, the German Mausers have been pretty great for the majority of their lifetime. But anyway, beside the point, the magazine cutoff was a feature of these rifles that it basically just meant that they could cycle the bolt without drawing ammo out of their magazine. The point being, they could single load rounds because they'd be still lined up, behind their trench or whatever in their position, and they would be giving the order to fire each round, and then they could leave their magazines full while still doing that. That's the idea. And it makes sense with that doctrine. And after the war, they realized that's retarded because that's not how warfare is going to be fought ever again.
Right.
And it was just extra cost put into these rifles. And I mean, some of those rifles did continue service into World War II, but no new weapons had them for the most part. And that's just like a case in point of why World War I was such a clusterfuck, is because they initially tried to fight it using old tactics in the face of new technology, and then were unable to adapt once everyone was dug in.
Yeah.
There was nothing they could do.
I find myself looking at colorized old photos from the late 1800s or whatever, 19 whatevers, and when I look at it in black and white, I'm like, this looks like an alien world. How was this not goofy to these people? But when they colorize it, I'm like, oh, if this is all I'd ever known, it would make sense to me. Like, these people felt in their day exactly the way I feel in my age. Like, of course, this is a technology. This stuff's pretty impressive. Wow, neato. And it just somehow makes it a lot more real for me. And playing through this game, like, I've looked at old World War I technology and their goofy ass tanks and their goofy ass machine guns. I'm like, this looks like a fake steampunk. Like, who thought this was cool? Who thought this was smart? But you get into the game and it's not all black and white and muddy and bloated bodies from the textbooks. And you're like, okay, this target's actually really hard to hit with his dog shit machine gun because he's got a big hunk of metal in it, and my dog shit rifle can't do anything about it. And it has been illuminating, and it's a really good time. And what I'll tell you about I'm sure World War I wasn't a good time, but this game is a good time. This game is nicely balanced in that your squad has different abilities. I still haven't worked them all out. One can call in artillery strikes, give better coordinates. I don't know if that's really actively used. But the guy that I like to use is like the rifleman. And the biggest difference is there's a lot less sway when you're aiming down the sights. If you have like the officer and you look down the iron sights, like the gun is doing its little migration.
It's moving around.
It's moving around. When you look at the rifleman, it's really slow, so you can shoot a lot further. And it it has led to a game where it's really important to coordinate with your squad, and I am using the shit out of cover. I've never played a game where I've cared about cover so much. Like, it really does make a difference if you are crouched and looking over a hill than if you are laying prone and like just peeking your one eyeball past. And it doesn't let you turn prone through things that are blocking it. You have to go to crouch and you create a much bigger target. So basically it's all these skills that I have to develop in Sniper Elite, because it's a lot harder for them to detect you if you're prone than if you're crouching, even if you're in a bush, and that doesn't make any sense. And there's no bullet drop in Tannenberg, but you also don't have to be stealthy. So it's just like, if you get good at aiming down these iron sights and making yourself hard to hit, you're going to do well in both these games. Tannenberg is a blast. So the whole thing about the wolves that we couldn't figure out, it's just an event. And every once in a while on a map, fucking wolves will just show up. And everybody gets to decide whether or not you want to have a truce. And the idea is nobody from one side kills anybody from the other side, and you all just fight the wolves that like haul ass around the map and tear people to shreds.
Wait, can you vote not to have a truce?
Well, if you all don't kill each other and you kill the wolves, everybody gets like an event reward, like a cool trophy. You know, I don't know. As soon as somebody kills the other person, another person on the other team, the truce is off and you're back to fighting. And there's wolves. They chomp,
so nope, fuck you. Have fun with this.
They chomp your fucking balls off, man. Like, all of a sudden you're like, ow, I'm taking damage. Oh my God. And you look, there's this like really poorly drawn white wolf. It's got like 4 frames in its animation, but there's 25 of them. And
so they're all doing the same animation.
And I'm trying to stab them, and they're like, they don't make you a super soldier. Like, you run kind of slow, you definitely jump slow, and when you stab, you're like, ugh, because you're trying to stab something to death.
Yeah.
Well,
with effectively an overweight spear.
Yeah, and you stab like one, and then all 6 of the other ones chomp you, and you're dead. That's it. Oops. It's
so
a lot of fun.
Super wolves versus regular
oh my God.
soldiers.
It's just like really directed Terminator wolves with normal powers. But it makes me realize that, like, if I was just out in the woods and 20 wolves were like, all right, this guy's going down and we're not going to stop, even if he hurts us, it'd be over. I'd be done. It'd be game over. You know?
Yeah.
Terrible. Fun game, though. Really, really good. From what I read about Verdun, the maps are like longer and thinner, and behavior is a little better. They're going to make a whole series about these fronts. I think Verdun is the Eastern Front, and Tannenberg's the Western Front.
Dancing with Wolves.
Kevin Costner.
I really enjoy this game. It's been worth the $15. I had one round, like, I got bodied my first 3 rounds. My 4th round, I had 87 kills, the most in the entire squad. And I thought it was really cool. And then I looked, and there was
people or wolves.
People. There's always bots there, but they have like people names. So I don't know if I was actually any good, but it's a lot of fun. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Unless anybody else has anything they want to hit on.
The break.
Before the break, we're gonna go ahead.
Stuff after the break.
We're gonna kick it to the break. We'll come back. We'll touch on what Frank wants to talk about, and then we'll just roll right in the Steam sale. So we'll catch you on the flip side. All right, hot news. There's a Fast and Furious coming out either last week or this week. I saw them advertise it once. Jason Statham, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
The Rock.
Basically, it's a buddy cop movie, but they're not cops, they're criminals. where they kick the shit out of a bunch of bad guys who are run by sexy African-American English guy, Idris Elba.
That is
his full official title. Yeah.
Yep. I'm sorry, sexy African-American Englishman.
African Englishman?
Yeah, because he's he's British, English, something.
He's American now. It's fine.
So he's running the bad guys, and he has an accent in this movie. So
That's not English?
no, it is English.
Okay.
I think he's done a lot of American accents. Anyway,
He has.
it looked hype as shit. I watched a 3.5 minute YouTube ad, and
Ab?
it was I was
Oh,
super
one
stoked.
ab.
So and then
There
like
were 5 others, but I stuck with this one.
and there's like at one point The Rock goes to Hawaii or something because I think he's Hawaiian.
That's a spin-off series, right? The Rock Goes to.
I would watch.
He goes there. He's like,
Today we're in Hawaii.
no, they show it right in the trailer. They're like, we need more fucking huge men. So he goes home and he's like, I need my brothers to help me fight the bad guys.
Oh my
and they go
God.
and they open his secret armory and
His
they're like,
brothers are hiding in there.
no. It's all his brothers or actors who look like his brothers. The Rock has like 39 cousins and like 38 of them were in the professional wrestling circuit. But I think Aquaman's his cousin.
Jason Momoa?
Yeah, I think
I think I've heard that somewhere.
so.
That's his actual name. That's Khal Drogo.
Yeah. Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
I think it's Momoa.
Something like that.
Are you?
So
M-O.
Jason Mimosa.
M-O-A.
I was gonna say yeah. It's
so he shows up and then they go to get their guns and they open the armory and all his guns are gone and they're like, what happened? And they turn to his mom. His mom's like, I got rid of them. Guns are bad. And they're like, what are we gonna do? So they pull out some like ancient warrior Hawaiian tooth weapons or
Back up.
warrior.
How did she get rid of them?
I don't know.
Did she take them out with the weekly trash?
I don't know, man. Maybe she threw them in the ocean.
One bin with the recycles, one bin with the assault rifles, one bin with the shotguns.
Dude, I don't know. And then they cut to the next scene, just a bunch of huge men that are supposed to be the Rock's family charging at super soldiers overseen by Idris Elba.
Wait, this is a Fast and the Furious movie?
Yes! And they're like, and then they do another cut and they're like, we're also going to need cars.
Amazing.
And there's just a bunch of cool cars. I can't wait. I'm just so disappointed I'm not drinking right now because this would be a great time to ruin 3 days of my life of doing a nonstop Fast and Furious drinking game movie montage and then showing up to the midnight premiere. You know, it would be.
How many movies have they have out now? 7?
9?
9?
I don't know.
48?
Is Luda in this one though?
Ludicrous. Oh my God. I mean this like unironic. I 100% mean this with all my heart. My favorite part about Fast and Furious is that Ludacris, the guy who made that music video with giant hands, like get the fuck out of my way or
Move,
what?
bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Is the world's foremost hacker. The Fast and Furious series.
It's his cover.
I love
He's
it.
hiding in
I
plain
love it
sight.
so much. Oh my God. I didn't see him
Dude,
in
that's
this
how
one.
he hacks. He goes into the code and he says, move bitch, get out the way.
Yeah.
Backslash.
Luda.
.exe.
Oh my God.
Other computer things.
He writes out other computer things.
Verbatim, yes.
So
the code.
another one of the scenes that they show is like The Rock and Jason. They're like at these hallways and they're like, which one do you want? And they pick and each one has bad guys in it and there's a mirror, but not a mirror, a window between them. I guess it's bulletproof. And they're like beating up bad guys. And they look over the other one. They make a funny face and he goes, ugh, and then he like snaps this guy's head off and then he throws it back to the other guy who stomps his dick in. I'm like, this is turning out to be meathead mania, just like the Expendables was.
Yeah.
I love those goddamn movies because
It's so ridiculous.
people are like, this story doesn't make any sense. Fuck you, it's not for you. This is just a bunch of beefcakes going ham down. Terry Crews shooting an automatic grenade launcher. I might have been a shotgun. I don't know. Oh, it
I
makes
think
my
he was really proud of his A12 or something like that.
it makes my heart dance with joy.
Yeah,
but
me
they
too.
get to the end of that hallway, and The Rock takes a dead guy's face and pushes it up against a retinal scanner and it works. And he's like, I'm so good. And Jason Statham tries it and it doesn't work. So he smashes the guy's face against the retinal scanner. Doesn't work. He does it like 4 times and it's Benny. That's it. That's all I can say about it. So
No Vin Diesel?
Oh my God. He's a secret character in there.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it. I don't know. If he is there, I'm not going to tell anybody.
Character.
Like, I hope he shows up.
No, that's Sly.
That is, oh my God, if Sly shows up. Hey, I was in that other movie.
Oh my God, is it a crossover episode?
Shut up. I can only get so fucking hyped.
With the Expendables.
Oh my God.
That's like half of the cast is the same though.
Yeah.
We've been leading double lives.
I just want to remind everybody that, wait, which one of the martial arts guys is the one who died? Bruce Lee.
Bruce?
I think Jet Li, he's still... I just want to remind you, in one of the Expendables movies, Jet Li kills somebody by knocking them to their knees and heel kicking them in their forehead so hard it snaps their neck. And also, Stone Cold Steve Austin, while fighting Sylvester Stallone, I believe it is, decides that his best move is to sprint across the room, which is not very fast, mind you. That man has a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
And launch himself like a meathead missile through the air directly into Sylvester Stallone's torso,
Head first.
who does nothing to avoid it.
Head first, right?
I love this so much. I hope Vin Diesel's there. Oh my God! And if he's there, is it like is the guy who was shot in Saving Private Ryan? That'd be cool. Or if he's there as who did he play in? That was his big breakout role. He was in Saving Private Ryan.
It wasn't Iron Giant.
No, he could be there as the Iron Giant. He could be there as the guy from Perfect Dark.
That's the crossover. I need.
See fuck, I can't do a good Vin Diesel. Like, I'm sorry, I'm playing with the wire. I'm so excited. Okay. You know what? I'll watch this movie. I'll watch all the movies.
He's gonna be the guy from the pacifier movies.
And I will give you the...
We need a comprehensive breakdown.
Dude, I can't wait. You know what would be great? If he shows up in the movie and then...
They fight the Avengers.
No, they both The Rock as the Tooth Fairy and Vin Diesel as the pacifier have to talk about how they couldn't get hired with a criminal record, so they both did these same roles and they just roast each other on it.
That would be pretty great. That would be pretty amazing.
All right. Okay. All right. We got to cool down.
It's too hype.
Deep breaths.
Yeah. Frank, tell us what you were going to tell us.
So I picked up, video games exist.
And we like those.
Yeah, supposedly. I picked up Divinity 2 Original Sin, which I believe has shown up on Steam sale several times while we've done it. And we've talked about how all of us have heard that it's a great game, but nobody's played it. So I picked it up. It was on sale for like $25 on Xbox. So I figured, what the hell? I've heard people say they've gotten several hundred hours of gameplay out of it. And I can see why already, even though I will admit I've only played it for about 8 hours. Bill, you're going to be so hype about this. Number one thing that I thought of when I first saw the game, it has local co-op.
Oh, yeah! Couch side by side. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's got local co-op and online co-op.
So good.
So
good. Are we going to chop baddies together?
We can. We can. Even Lisa's going to play it.
This might be the greatest day I've had in the last 10 years.
Wow.
What wonderful day. I got to relive my love for Meathead Mania, and now there's a couch side by side. So what did you think of the 8 hours you had some stick time with it?
I mean, it's a great game. I can see already how it's going to be super popular. So it is a top-down, turn-based RPG, right? So you control your party, and you can play solo, but you can also make a party. And this is what I think it makes the game so interesting. So you start, right, and think of like a typical big name RPG recently, like a Skyrim or something, where you have like a character creation thing, but But in addition to being able to create your own character, they have 6 pre-made characters with predetermined stories who are in the game with their stories regardless of whether you play with them or not.
That's awesome.
So they've got these 6 pre-made, they call them origin characters, right? And you can pick one of them and partner up with other ones, or you could create your own and you could partner up with one of the 6 pre-made ones or multiple of them, right? And it's the same start no matter what. You start off on a ship, you're a prisoner, and you're going to this prison place where they're going to take your magic away, and stuff happens, the ship wrecks, and you escape with everybody, and then you get to pick okay, who do I want in my party, and you can team up with different people, and then obviously as you form your party or go alone, you can have other people jump in to play as the other characters in your party, and then you fight them. You fight your way through the story. It's a really good story so far, very deep. I can tell there's a lot of stuff. They hint at the fact that there's a lot of story and lore behind the world that they don't throw in your face all at once, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
It's okay, you can take it however much you want and explore and learn how much you want as you want. And it's there for you to go in. There's lots of little books that you can read and stuff like that. And you can take it at your own pace for how much you care. So the combat is really cool. I can already tell there's a lot of different abilities that you can get and master. The creation system's really cool. It's a lot of people. I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's not the simplest combat system, but it's not too hard to figure out, right? But there's so much depth to creating your characters. There's a ton of different abilities and a ton of different things you can do, and one of the things that I think I've noticed so far already is it's got that, it's not one of those games where you go and you talk to people and you can just you just keep talking to people and exhaust all of the dialogue options, because what you say matters for how the conversation turns out.
Yeah.
It's not different trees where you can kind of just okay, I say this and I have 2 options here and that leads to 3 more options here, which leads to 2 options each here, and I can pick one of those, but then I can go all the way back and go down this other section of the tree, right? It's I can say something to you and piss you off, and now you don't want to talk about something else.
Yeah. You can't say blow me clown and then go right back and be you're cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a shame.
So it's deep in all of the ways that a lot of multiplayer games anymore, or a lot of RPGs are not deep anymore, right? Where they try and go for the streamlined thing where you can just kind of go through, bounce through the story. Combat is a breeze. I will say combat is not a breeze. I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty. I'm not playing on the easiest difficulty. And I think I'm playing on the one they do a good job at describing the difficulties, I guess. I've only played on one, so I can't really compare them. But it's basically, they say you don't know what you're doing and you're an idiot. Here's the easy mode. You don't really know what you're doing, but you at least want a challenge. Here's normal mode. Then there's the one where it's you have experience with RPGs. You're pretty sure you'll figure it out. Play this one. It'll not be easy mode for you. And then they have one that's they're basically yeah, you'll probably die a lot, even if you know what you're doing. So I appreciate that they take the time to explain that with you. Cool thing about those pre-made characters, only the story for them is pre-made. You can make them whatever class you want.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that.
You could have a guy who grew up in a dwarven mine, and he's an airbender.
Yep.
I guess. Well, so it's funny that you mentioned that.
What, you're just imagining a big...
So they break stereotypes in the game. So there is a dwarf character, but he's a fucking sea guy. He's a pirate.
I literally almost said
Sea guy.
I was going to go with a sailor, but I changed my mind
because when are dwarves ever sailors?
Yeah.
Right? This guy is. He's got a big beard.
This guy.
That's awesome.
There is a skeleton.
Ooh, spooky, scary.
He's pure skelly, and he wears a magic mask basically to make himself not so skelly, so that he looks like a normal person.
Oh wait, Skellington, Jake, that's your Lord and Savior.
Saber-toothed tiger.
You leave him out of this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
How dare you speak?
I wish I could talk more about the story, but I just haven't gotten that far into it to give a really good overview of it, and I don't want to look up stuff about the
Right.
story because I really want to. Like what I've played so far, I've enjoyed so much. I don't want to spoil a second of it.
You have it on Xbox,
I do have it on Xbox. It is on PC.
but it's not crossplay.
I don't know. It's a good
I
question.
have to look into that because if it's crossplay, I'll pick it up and we can blast this game together. Now, before we hit the Steam sale, you wanted to mention your current adventures with the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now.
Yeah.
MCU.
So this past weekend, Avengers Endgame came out, and I gotta say, I've slacked on seeing those movies, despite how free most of them are. And by free, I mean like between YouTube TV and Netflix, I can watch any of them except for Captain Marvel and Endgame, obviously, which are still in theaters for free whenever I want. And I have actively chosen not to since, like, I don't know. Jake and I went through the ones, like, we went through all, there's like, what, 20, 25 of them or some shit like that?
I don't even
There's
know
a
the count.
fuck ton of them. And we were like we'd each seen 6. And, like, all of the ones that we'd seen were, like, from between 2008 and 2010. So, like, we hadn't seen one in
It's a bit pathetic.
Gotta
years.
catch up.
Yeah.
Well, I had seen Doctor
Well, you
Strange.
did see Doctor Strange.
And you had seen
One of the Captain Americas.
Yeah, one of those.
What,
Winter Soldier, maybe? Or did you see Winter Soldier too?
That's-
Okay, so yeah, it was Winter Soldier. And that was like the last one, which I think Winter Soldier was like 2011, maybe 2012. But I didn't see it until like 4 years ago when it was on like cable TV. You know, I was like, scrolling through the channels. All right, I guess I'll watch this.
I feel like I caught a good bit of Winter Soldier, but it was on cable TV and ads came on, and like you, I walked away because I'm allergic to ads.
Yeah.
They
And
give
peanuts, right?
me no.
Oh.
Penis.
Just peanuts.
Oh, I'm not allergic to penis either, baby.
I just
Looking
never,
at you, Robo Dick. Sorry, go ahead.
I just never got it. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I just never. The only appeal from a superhero I ever got is Batman, sometimes Superman. Maybe it's because I get super jelly that I'm a big fat mess and all those guys are super cut up, that they have friends and powers and people care about them. And I don't know. It's not fun.
I
for
gotta
me.
say, like, I thought to myself, everybody's talking about how good Endgame is, and I'm not gonna go see it if I haven't seen any of them for like 8 years.
Right.
Right. So I was like, all right, I'll try and I'll look to see which ones the important ones are. And between now and a month from now, I can probably find time to watch 4 or 5 movies. Right. Especially because none of them, actually, some of them are pretty long. I was surprised with how long. I figured they were all going to be like an hour and a half a piece. They're all like 2.5 hours.
Yes, and apparently Endgame's 3
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
or something close to that, around that.
But I'll say, like, first of all, I was pleasantly surprised with how not bad they were. I did not expect them to be great movies, but I expected them to be something I could put on, you know, the telly and
Ugh.
and
Why?
and kind of bounce around the internet. And I'm like, okay, it's on. I'm watching it. I have an idea. Like, the story's not very complicated, so it's not like if I bounce around the internet while I'm watching it, I'm gonna lose the story, right? So I started with, and I don't know why I started with Age of Ultron, but I did.
Sorry.
Why?
It's the second Avengers movie. It's just
Well,
like it's pretty far into the whole.
Well, I had seen the
series.
first Avengers movie.
Wait,
Okay.
what does that mean? Second Avengers? Are there a bunch before that?
No, so there's different.
Well, you're like, it's so far into the story.
Well, because they have like a lot of the main superheroes already have so many movies.
Oh.
Like I'm thinking they all have about 3 each. So like and they've kind of all been
Bill,
scattered
it's absurd.
around.
There's way too many of them. But you can pick which ones, you can pick a couple. So I had seen pre-Wednesday, I had seen Iron Man 1 and 2, the first 2 Captain Americas, the first Avengers, And then there was one more. Guardians of the Galaxy.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that one on a plane. It was a very good plane movie.
Mm-hmm.
They're all great plane movies. They're not going to get your mind moving too much. So those were the 6 that I had seen. So I figured, okay. I looked it up and I was like, which movies? I literally Googled which Marvel movies do I need to see to watch Endgame? And it told me. It was like, you should watch. Yeah, it was like, you need to watch the first 3 Avengers, because this is the 4th, right?
Yes.
So you should watch Thor Ragnarok, and Captain America: Civil War.
Yep. Because people keep saying like that's basically an Avengers movie. Like it is heavily based on Captain America. Like you're following him and his buddies, but they're all in it. Like they're all involved in it, and like a huge part of the whole Avengers situation is in that. So
I started with Age of Ultron because it was the first one that I found that came up on Netflix.
Okay,
like I was just scrolling through Netflix and I was like, that's what started it basically. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I could watch this. It's free, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also found out that it's like the worst of all of them.
Kind of.
And I was like,
pretty bad.
I wouldn't
which one again?
Age of Ultron.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it was bad.
I heard a lot of bad stuff about Civil War.
I would not say. So both of those, I would not say either one was like significantly worse than any of the others. They were entertaining. I sat there and I was like, I was not bored for those 2.5 hours that I just sat here, with the exception of Thor Ragnarok, which I thought was a riot. What a great movie.
You haven't seen any of the other Thor movies, right?
No, I just watched
I was gonna
that
say,
one.
you really don't need to, because they really changed his character in that one. Like they made him much more of a comedic character, because he's super serious in the other ones, and it's really boring.
Yeah.
So
I could see that being the case. It was very well done. It definitely, they need to, because my complaint that I've talked about so many times about the Marvel movies that I have seen is everybody's always like, oh, I'm so cool, everyone's dying, but I'm going to make these quick little jokes about how funny the world ending really is, because I am so cool and I just don't care. But in this one, they kind of just take the whole we're not going to take this thing seriously at all, right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And if they would have taken that approach with all of these movies, I personally think they'd be a lot better. A lot of other people might say differently because they want them to maintain that air of seriousness that comic books tend to, you're talking about the world ending and stuff like that. But like in the movies, they always make it seem like it's just not a big deal and they got this. So look, like,
which
there's really
gets
no
rid
tension
of the gravity,
right? Exactly. So it just completely eliminates the tension. And another thing, I watched Doctor Strange, which Jake you saw,
and liked quite a lot.
I thought they did a really good job with that as well. Where
I was just thinking that it sounds kind of like the way you were talking about Ragnarok, where they. You all right? Okay. They don't take it too seriously. Like the end is kind of goofy, but I don't know. It still took him trying to figure out what he can do to actually work with the time stone, I think it is.
One of them.
Oh, yeah, the green one.
Yeah. So it's, I thought if they stick to that, they turn out to be decent. They're like summer blockbuster movies. You're not going there because you want to be really, really engaged in something, but like you want to sit there and you want your eyeballs to be dazzled by nice special effects, and you want good jokes, and you want well choreographed action scenes, right?
Yeah.
Like if that's what you're going to give me and you're going to execute at that high of a level, I'm going to sit there and say, bravo, you made something that was worth my time.
It was entertaining, and that's it. It's not
to be. Yes.
You're not supposed to think about it too hard.
Right.
See, the thing is that some people are smart. They value, I agree that these movies don't need to be intellectually, they don't need to have as deep intellectual stimuli, right? That's okay. The issue that I have heard, and I'm not speaking for myself here because I haven't seen enough of these movies to do so, is that they're done in the details, many of the details, stupidly. Plot contrivances that don't make sense, poor dialogue, character lore breaks, like making Thor a more entertaining personality. He's a demigod. Of course he's boring.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, they kind of play on that.
Spider-Man and Tony Stark are funny.
Yeah.
Okay. They're like, to my understanding, and I'm not an expert on any of this stuff, but my understanding is they're the funny ones. All right. They're the snarky, you know, dudes who make light of everything.
Right.
But I mean, and DC makes a lot of the same mistakes, you know, making Superman all dark and serious. Like,
right. Like, he's never been.
Like, what?
Really
he's supposed to be bright and colorful and like saving
Yeah.
people, and meanwhile in those movies they just level cities and don't think twice about it. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And I get and am inclined to agree with, having not seen most of these movies, those sorts of objections, because fine, it's happy or whatever, it's entertaining, it's bedazzling, spend all this money on special effects. I don't see it being all that hard to have with it a coherent, you know, baseline beyond that. So I'm not trying to shit on anyone's parade, but those are the majority of these sorts of complaints I hear about these about these franchises, and unfortunately, those perceptions alone have largely kept me from them because I like, for one thing, nonfiction most of the time, and for another, you know, independent creators on YouTube talking about real life types of things, even if they're fucking on it, or otherwise more stimulating, you know, getting my brain chewing on stuff more so than just bedazzling my eyeballs. I can find that anywhere. Without having to pay $15 to go to a theater.
Yeah.
And that's what I would not spend $15 to go see most of these movies. I will spend $5. The Movie Tavern, which every Tuesday night is $5.
Yeah.
So I would do that. I would also go see it for free, courtesy of Lisa and her movie passes that she has.
Yeah.
But I would say to that, Jake, I didn't pick up on any of that. Like, maybe because I was watching it just without really caring what the plot was too deeply, because I expected it to be just like an action movie with good special effects. I was like, the plot's the plot. It exists, and they move through it, but mostly it's just like good special effects and well choreographed fight scenes.
If the fight scenes were done well in the auspices of all the special effects around them, and it wasn't all just bedazzling Transformers movie overkill,
no, it's not like that.
That you could not follow,
yeah.
Then of course I can watch that movie and enjoy myself, right?
Yeah.
Because those Transformers movies are dog shit.
Well, yeah.
You know, it's not orchestrated well. It's like they're not mixed well at the peak action scenes. Shit just doesn't make sense. There's stuff flying all over the place. You have no idea what's happening. The protagonists have died multiple times over, but they don't for some reason because the movie must continue.
Yeah,
that's annoying as shit. So you know, and I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that some of my favorite movies, like John Wick and The Raid, have deep intellectually stimulating nonfiction plot lines
or something. Yeah.
None whatsoever. They're extremely simple and a little stupid, but it's because the rest of it is all very grounded ish with some liberties, mono action, with really quite little in the way of special effects or other than practical ones for the most part. So it's easier to do that sort of thing well, whereas we're just inundated with just CGI everything all the time, and it's auspicious in a way that the Star Wars prequels were so terrible because they were also among the first movies to really saturate with artificial assets, and to do so poorly at that. So it's good to see that there are good examples, like, you know,
some of the Marvel.
You would contest Thor Ragnarok, Doctor Strange, you know, etc. Even the first Avengers movie I thought was a great time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second or third, but you know, I do just kind of lament the overuse of CGI. I don't know if the ones you've described really abuse it so much. Without in sacrifice of something else is what
I would say if any of them abused it, I wouldn't even say abused it, but I would say the one that seemed to use it the most was Doctor Strange because of all the
magic stuff.
Yeah,
all the world warping.
Yeah.
And even then, it didn't.
Like it made sense to have to use it for that.
Yeah.
It did.
I mean, unless they want to build sets that
all I'm
sort of spinning.
All
randomly.
I'm getting at really is that a lot of movies are spoiled.
Yeah,
by the effects, and a lot of people like those movies because of the spoiling of effects, and that is unfortunate and a little smooth-brained, as it was said earlier. But it's good that the movies are being done well in that context. Also,
yeah, I would say they were well executed for what I would want out of a superhero movie, and good job, Marvel, for at least making the ones that I've seen so far. I think I'm now up to 9 out of 20.
Whatever it is.
I'm not going to spoil it, even though the movie's a little old, because I do recommend that people watch Doctor Strange. Possibly my favorite ending to a superhero movie. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I think we can all agree that what we really want is a new Batman with Fat Val Kilmer reprising his role.
Yes.
Or Vin Diesel as Batman. Or
Double
Oh
yes.
my god.
Or
Vin Diesel as Robin.
no. Wait a minute.
Vin Diesel as Batman with a miniaturized skinnier,
Batmobile Batman.
Yeah, CGI skinnied version of Vin Diesel
God.
as Robin.
I
So he
think
fits like the 12-year-old boy.
no.
Frame.
You're not listening to the greatest idea that's ever been made by man.
I
Vin-
go. You stay.
Vin Diesel with the vocabulary skills of the Iron Giant in retro Robin attire. And Batman played by?
So no pants is what you're saying.
Batman played by?
Fat Kilmer.
Luda.
Oh my god.
And Alfred is Mr.
Roll out.
Mr.
Roll
Worldwide.
Oh my god, yes.
Pitbull is the butler.
Is Alfred.
I think you know, Barack Obama broke boundaries becoming the first black president, but
God.
Ludacris, I think, would
First
really
black
be tearing
Batman.
down some walls if he became black man.
As long as Rollout plays when he gets in the Batmobile,
Yeah.
and he jumps out of the Batmobile with twin Glock 40s, I'm fine with it.
Oh my God.
Cock back, him and his honies. They got that.
Oh my God. That sounds amazing. Okay.
I will watch Infinity War next, I believe. And I don't know if I'll watch anything else after that.
All right. We're going to kick it real quick to our Steam sale. Yes. Steam sale. Steam sale.
Well, are
Steam
we
sale.
breaking or straight? Actually,
Straight into it. Straight into it. I warned the listeners. I warned them.
By
You have
spring
been
singing.
warned, queers. All right.
Whoa.
Have no fears.
Capcom Publisher Weekend! Yay!
Can you move the TV so Frank can see it?
Yes, shut up, all right?
Do you need help?
You do this on the mic? Okay.
Yes.
I tried not to.
Well, someone...
I used
Ooh,
mouth words
Resident
to
Evil 2.
communicate.
Devil May Cry 5 is not on sale. It is brand new. I'm not surprised. Pick it up anyway. Resident Evil 2, the remake, the most recent remake,
Remake.
$40.
Yes. Well, maybe depends on how much you like horror games and Resident Evil. If you're a fan of Resident Evil, if maybe you have not played Resident Evil 2 in the past, dude, it's
Objection!
So good.
Ace
So
Attorney.
good.
Ace Attorney Trilogy objects
What is
over whatever
that?
you were just saying. It is a...
Oh my god.
Anime lawyer game.
It is an anime courtroom
Become
game.
Phoenix Wright and experience the thrill of battle as you fight to save your innocent clients in a court of law.
I just know
Play
that
all 14 episodes spanning the first 3 games in one gorgeous collection.
This says release April 9th, 2019.
This guy is just shocked
But
in
it's
every
the tri-
frame.
I
That
think
is the
it's
release
trilogy.
of this specific trilogy. Because these games are far older than that. The first one, I think, in particular, has been a part of meme culture since the early 2000s.
Dude, people went apeshit when this game came out. I remember.
Yeah.
Like,
I've never
This
heard
is
of
not
this.
her lawyer. I tried to believe.
No. No, it is not. And you will hear the
prequel
word
to her lie. I tried to believe.
and you will hear the word objection yelled frequently.
Oh, really?
Which is why I just did it.
is it worth the $30?
Not to me, no, but I thought it was funny.
Right.
I didn't realize it was Capcom. Onimusha
Oh my goodness.
Warlords.
Wait, this looks like this literally looks like a character from Yakuza.
It does. Like I did.
Onimusha is a
Looks
I
old.
guess it's a classic at this point.
Original.
No, it's not. You're a samurai dude, and you cut up demons, and it's character action.
So it's Neo.
No, it's not Neo. It's Onimusha. That's why it's a different name. Genevieve.
Inuyasha?
No, yes, it's
Inuyasha.
Inuyasha. All right, you're all fired. It's an old series. I think there were 3 of them back in the day, in like the early 2000s for like PS2 and Xbox. I played the first 2 of them. They were quite fun. So this looks like I can't tell if this is a remaster or they just re-released it, but they have a 2019 release date, so I'm a little confused.
Very positive feedback, but it's $20. What kind of sale has nothing on sale?
Yeah, it's not on sale. That's it. But these I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but I wanted to point it out because that is a fun
Monster
They're also
Hunter
new
World.
releases.
Monster Hunter World. About $40. Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition, $8. Now we're talking. Resident Evil Biohazard, $15.
Go to the bathroom
Okami.
after I leave it.
Okami, $13. This was kind of a cool game when it came out. Cell shaded. You can play as a dog thing. You draw a lot of stuff, I believe, and you can like draw objects into existence.
Oh, this
and
is a
whatnot.
Genevieve game for sure.
It definitely
Let's
is.
take a closer look.
$13. I think.
It's all very positive. Experience the critically acclaimed masterpiece with its renowned Sumi ink art style in breathtaking high resolutions. So it might be a remaster. It might be a lot of what's going on here with Capcom.
Probably. Yeah, you're a magic pupper and you run around. Magic Japan.
Yeah.
This
Magic
style
Man.
looks friggin' cool. Lots of colors.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, doggos.
very arty game and very.
Oh my God, Dragon Ball's in this?
Yeah, Goku's
So
in it.
I want to see if you guys get this joke. In the D&D stream that I watch, they ran into a thing that was a sphere made out of wyvern bones. So it was a wyvern sphere.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Moving on.
Wyverns are a type of dragon. Balls are like spheres.
Oh, so
Oh.
Dragon Ball.
Sphere is like a knockoff Dragon Ball.
Oh,
Thought it was
Okay,
Oh.
everyone hold all your phones. DuckTales,
What?
67% off for $4.94.
What do you do? Like, what do you do in DuckTale World? It's
Huey,
remastered.
Stewie, and Louie and Gooey all
Yep.
go out to the pyramids. Do you remember how?
That's not what the description is, though.
I feel like when we were kids, the pyramids were way more explored by cartoons than they are now.
yeah,
Maybe we
they've
didn't.
given up on the pyramids now.
They put a Taco Bell and a Pizza Hut next to the pyramids. So
Oh, did they?
Pretty much
so
conquered.
done.
This is a side-scrolling.
That's how you know that place is
platformer.
done.
Side scrolling, jump on the heads, neat art style, 3D, 2D. Oh, there's a mine cart to jump off of. I mean, if I'm probably going to get it for the DuckTales, for the Duck lols. There's Mega Man. That's on sale. I have never gotten the appeal of Mega Man. I hate to say. I might try to find a highly rated edition.
Dead Risings.
Are they good? You
1 and
liked
2
it. You
both
had
were-
one of those, right?
I played them.
I got stuck on the first one and never finished it.
The first one was pretty fun. The second and the third ones, like you did it in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then from what I've heard, the story gets even stupider and it just becomes less fun and more buggy and dumb.
Anybody got hands on Lost Planet?
No, but I have heard good things. And
I've
for
heard it's in
$3,
extreme condition.
for $3 for the first one, or for extreme condition. I don't know which one's the first one. Which one's the
I think
second,
probably
but-
just the one that's.
But one of them's $3. Extreme Edition, Lost Planet Extreme Edition is $3, 80% off, and Lost Planet, no subtitle, is $4.
There's a 2. It's really hard to see.
Yeah, that's squared. Okay.
Oh.
Got it. So that's $4. That could be worthwhile in and of itself. But here we go, Devil May Cry. I don't know why the HD collection of the first 3 Devil May Cries sells for so much more on PC than it does if you were to pick up a disc for a console, because you can get this trilogy as a trilogy for your Xbox One or 360 frequently for like $10. And this on sale is $20 on Steam. It's probably some type of licensing thing. I don't know. However, I just because I love these games, I'd recommend it. Honestly, even if you skip 2, which is the bad egg of the bunch, these 2 games are definitely worth $10.
Resident Evil 2 Revelations for 77 cents.
The non-remake, the actual Resident Evil 2, that is.
Wait, so then what?
For 77 cents is kind of a no-brainer.
So wait, is it Resident Evil Revelations is the first, and then Resident Evil Revelations 2 is the second one, right? It's not like
Redefined HD visuals. Looks like these are both like.
because then there's just Resident Evil with numbers. Like,
Resident Evil is a
What
silly franchise. I don't
what does
know.
Revelations mean?
All right.
It is one of those generic title things that are frequently used. Like,
We will reveal things in this game.
yeah, there was Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Yes, there was.
There was The Matrix Revelations. Yeah, the bad one.
Back at Keanu.
What the hell is Strider? That's a name I recognize. Is that an old game that they redid? Strider returns in a brand new adventure, complete with incredible side-scrolling action and lightning-fast combat, all in a massive interconnected world. Download the full game February 19th and become the original assassin. Yeah, I think this is an older IP. I feel like because I came into the gaming world after the Sega Saturn and the other Segas, and I started on N64, I missed a lot of Capcom stuff.
My first console was a Genesis, the Sega Genesis, and they will all the Capcom games for the original Sega will always hold a special place in my heart.
Are you going to pick up this Strider for $4.50?
Nope.
That's pretty much all I need to know. All right, let's kick it out to the main page, unless you see anything else in here you like.
No.
DMC4 for $10. That's it. This is not the main store page. Thank you, Steam. That was extremely helpful.
Store home.
Super.
Imperator Rome. That's not on sale. We'll talk
Yeah,
about
it's
that.
just a feature.
Okay.
Well, that's all I need to know.
This is a game about Frank. Scum aims to evolve the multiplayer open world survival game with unprecedented levels of character customization, control and progression, where knowledge and skills are the ultimate weapons for long-term survival. So this almost looks like you're an escaped convict or something. Is this another...
Your jumpsuit literally says scum.
This is another like DayZ kind of thing?
Daisy.
I haven't heard anything about Z's yet, but no, maybe.
What on earth is...
Being chased by a Mondu.
Is that a Mondu or is that someone wearing a Mondu costume?
I don't know. 144 square kilometers, 3 different environments, day and night cycle, dynamic weather.
Early
Mixed
access.
reviews.
1340.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, guys. I'm not doing the early access thing.
Jump Force, a dragon... Wait.
Oh my god.
This is an anime game.
And it's got the anime characters.
Excuse me, it's a
One
manga
Piece.
game.
You're a manga game.
It's One Piece.
So this
and
is, Dragon Ball, One Piece.
Naruto. Right or no?
Why does everything load so slow?
This can't be officially licensed.
It definitely does.
It's
Can they
Bandai
all have
Namco.
like severely
Oh.
knockoff names like
Next.
singular fragment?
It's
Hey, man.
mixed reviews.
I don't read manga, but I do watch some anime, and this I don't know if I'll buy it, but it's interesting that it exists. There's
It's like 36
None of the
bucks.
pictures
Yeah, I'm not
are
paying
loading.
$36.
And it's
for it.
like
Yeah, no.
it's
No.
mixed reviews. It just came out 2 months ago, and it's already
yeah, that's not a good sign.
This is,
But hey, it's there.
Fresh body.
Okay. This is only $5, so
Oh, gotta
adult
put your age
content.
in. Ooh.
That person has 4 eyeballs that we can see.
And it's
Defeat
very
your enemies. Take their
stylistically-
body parts to replace yours and become another strong boss.
What?
yourself.
I want this.
it has positive reviews.
Someday the videos will load.
It is early access. Let's see. Early access, gore, indie, action,
Wait.
adventure.
Wait,
What?
It's an early access game that was released in 2016.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Next.
I like the premise.
All right.
I'm just trying to look at my.
Oh, this
Oh,
art
it finally
style.
loaded a picture.
This
Meh.
this gameplay better be good because I'm not impressed with it visually.
It probably isn't if it's still in early access, though.
Oh boy, maybe it's great. Who knows? All right, let's do the Fear the Wolves.
This looks like your game.
The Wolves Fear.
Oh my god, another mixed review game. Fear the Wolves is competitive battle royale FPS by Vostok Games. Escape Chernobyl, pursued by mutants, radiation, horrific anomalies, weather, and other players. All right. More zombos.
Seems like it could be decent. Hopefully they didn't
How much was
completely
it?
screw the X. It was like $10.
$10.
Ooh, Don't click on it, but Northgard is on sale. I've had that on my watch list forever. It's I think it's supposed to be pretty cool, like Viking era combat. $15 might be worth it. The Crew is $17.99. The Crew 2. Anybody got hands on that game?
No.
I mean,
Is this just Fast and Furious game version?
It's free right now for the weekend
free weekend.
until April 29th at 1.
Monster Hunter World, 34% off for $40. And a hat in time that looks like a piece of toast for
That
$15.
a cartoon person is chasing.
Yeah, dude. All right.
Well, we're looking at it.
A hat in time is a cute as heck 3D
What?
platformer.
Abort.
featuring-
I'm done. So
Cute hyphen ass.
wrong. Okay. Sometimes they put sales up here on the main banner.
Oh, it's a witch person. That's who's reaching for the toast.
Nothing we didn't already touch on. Okay, kind of a light showing.
Grim Dawn.
Rocket League for $12.
Great
Oh,
pickup.
All right. Let's just
Go.
get our pick in here. End this madness. I'm gonna go with
DuckTales.
DuckTales for $4.50 just for the lulls.
Sound a little more enthusiastic.
I don't know what else to say.
I think I'd go for a Okami for I think it was like 12 or 13.
I'm going to say Resident Evil 2. It's an incredible, like it's an all-time classic. $34 for the remake. Okay.
For everything I've heard about that remake, I might be inclined to agree. Although, could just pick up Resident Evil Revelations 2, the not remake, for 77 cents.
Wait, I changed my mind. I'm going for Lost Planet 2 for $7.
Yeah, you
I'll probably second
can't-
that.
Just in
Can't
time.
go wrong with that.
Yeah, Lost Planet. All right, guys.
As always, forever, but not ever, but McTwist, mystify, enigma inside a mystery, wrapped inside a joke. Don't forget to cock 'em and lock 'em and then rock them, baby.